Okay.
Yeah, we can start.
So I want to show you all. I was attempting something before the class started, and I want to show you all the result of it. So basically, what I'm trying to do today is to take the garment of our choice and take the face of our choice, and then mix it together to make it into a garment, a picture, right? That we want. A lot of time it works, a lot of time it doesn't work. There are some settings that you have to work with. These are also, so under image prompt there are some settings: image prompt, pyracani, cpds, face swap, and all of the combination of these settings, these are called control settings. These are all of these control settings, the images and the text prompt together makes for the image here, right? So this one hasn't come out well, and I'll figure out why. But earlier when I was trying today, so this was what I did. So this is a screenshot of the previous work. So I went to the image prompt, I put the garment in it, and I put the model's face in it. And there were some settings that were applied here, like image prompt for this garment and face swap for this person. Okay, and there were different kinds of weightage and stop ad settings. After doing all of that, the result that came out first was this. So the first result was this basically. So the face does not look quite similar to the model, but the garment has come out pretty close. Then I put another prompt saying that, make the show full length of the dress worn by the model, right? So that's what I said. That was the next prompt, and this was the image that had come out. So this is pretty close to what our real image is, and is whatever small things that are not in this is something that we can add using another feature called as in paint or out paint. Okay, so I will be telling you about one, two, three, these three sections: upscale, image prompt, in paint and out paint. And then how, first I'll explain all of this, and then we will try to use the combination of these things, the text and the weightage and the control settings, together to do a few tasks. Okay, so let me first start with, I mean, this image not good, so I'll just kind of not, I don't need this. Never mind, it's not going. So yeah, so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about all of these things. Let me refresh, and then we'll get a fresh page to start. Yeah, so this is how we generally, start out. Okay, all right. So generally, when we take an image, we will kind of start with remove background. Okay, because whatever image we take has some background, and that kind of interferes. So the first thing we do is to remove the background. We will remove the background like I did it earlier. So I took this image, okay, and I removed the background and I made it like this, right? I won't do it again. I'll I mean, we can just probably show it for the purpose of demonstration, I guess. So, yeah. So this was the garment, and then I removed the background. The text still won't go. All right. Hmm. It's pretty basic. It'll happen on its own. We'll download the image and keep. Yeah, this is, and then you can download. The text still won't go. We'll work on the text later. So yeah, this is from here I downloaded it and I kept it. This is done with. Okay. So we go back to generation, and this is our basic page. Now to start working with multiple images and making the combination of those things, how do we go about is we click on input image. All right. Here there are one, two, three, four, five options. Last two are not really, something that we are working today, but these three are what we are very commonly used. Now, upscale or variation is something where if I put I can put any image, and then I can upscale or vary. For example, what I'll get a version of this image particularly, per se. So if this is the image, then upscale or variation disabled, very subtle, very strong, upscale 1.5 time, upscale 2.5, and upscale. So there are multiple types of upscaling and variation, so we can work with. So do we want it to vary or do we want it to upscale? That depends on it, right? So if we upscale and make it 2.5, let's just see what it does. Okay, everything that you start with first without putting the prompts. Okay, it is processing something. I don't know what's, maybe it's just processing the image. So this basically, this works best when we already got an image. For example, we generated an image and the face and all is not good. So we'll take that only and then we will upscale it or we will vary it, right? So and then we can type the prompts here and then we can create on generate. So that's where upscale and variation comes in. Once this stops processing, I'll tell you how to go about it. Okay, so until then, I'll tell you the second feature, which is image prompting. Here, there are 4 images. Yesterday, we used this feature itself to create collages. Like we were adding a few images and we were mixing it all together and putting it out there. Okay, once we go on advanced, we will be able to find different particular settings here. I'll tell you what these settings are. So yesterday also I mentioned about something about stop at. Think of it like a percentage value. Okay, like say here it is 0.5, it's a scale from 0 to 1. If it is at 0.5, which means it will stop. So there are frames that makes all of this happen. Generation, the whole generation happens with frames. That's why when we go to advanced, it tells 45 steps or 25 steps or 8 steps. Let's say we have it at extreme speed and it has 8 steps. So for the first 4 steps, it will stop at 4 frames. Okay, so if it is 0.5%, which means 50%, that means for the first 4 frames of these 8 steps, it will consider this image, whatever image I put here. If it will stop at 4 frames. Okay, and then weightage means how much of the features it is going to take in take into consideration to create the image. That is when it's image prompt. What is Pyracani? Pyracani is something like, for example, let's say I want only outlines. Okay, so Pyracani and CPDS, these are the two options which will do pretty much the same thing but different ways. Okay, so Pyracani is basically, suppose I want the hair, suppose I want the silhouette to be exactly the same, then I will go for Pyracani and then I will apply the scale here. So in Pyracani also, how much of the silhouette or how much of the whole thing I want to keep as it is, or how much do I want to change. That's what Pyracani does. Image prompt will take into consideration everything about the image, the color, the composition, the proportions. That is what image prompt is. Pyracani means it will take into consideration the lines, the silhouettes, right, and the mostly the outlines of the thing. Okay, CPDS also does the same. The full form of CPDS is contrast. I'll tell you. It's decolorization structure. It's contrast something decolorization structure. That means it will make the image black and white, and then it will take all the outlines and everything using that technique. Okay, you choose either Pyracani or CPDS. Okay, at a time. Then face swap is something where if you put a face, it will take hair and eyes and features into consideration. That also you can do the settings as to how much percentage of weightage and how much do you want to stop at. So there are 4 features. So there are 4 features and each feature has 2 scales, right? So these 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 scales together decides what is coming into the final output or not. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing that contributes is the prompt that we are putting. So it has, from now on it gets a little bit more complicated, where you have too many variables. You can put all of these variables together in different proportions and the output will be changed, right? And this can only be perfected Once you keep doing it over time and once you keep practicing it, you will understand what proportions work for your particular use case. My particular use case can be different from yours. Yours could be creating garments, mine could be creating mood boards, right? So for me, settings will be different, for you settings will be different, depends on what you're working on. So yeah, so these are the 4 things, right? Now we will, what I did was earlier, again, so now that I've explained the whole concept to you, I want to show you the examples where what I did was I did the image prompt. I put the garment in here and I did the image prompt, which means in this case the whole garment and the whole proportions and everything will be taken into consideration. The color, the silhouette, the lines, the shapes, everything will be taken into consideration from here. Since I wanted the garment to be exactly as it is, I made the settings to on the higher side, which is 0.8 and 0.8 here. You know, now this side of the job is done. The next side of the job was to put the face onto the garment, right? So I put the face here and I selected face swap. Here I kept the stop at settings at 1, which means 100% of the rendering, it will take the face into consideration, right? So that's why I've kept the setting higher, because I wanted the face to come as it is, if not very, if not exactly as it is, closer to this. I kept the weight again to be more than 1, which is actually on the higher side. Still, it changes things and it was able to create something like this. Yeah, no, not exactly this, it was like this basically. So this is not very far off from the face that is, it's not the same, but it's not very far off also, if you see, right? So yeah, I mean, certain things you can change and then you can also bring it together. Now, how do you make those certain changes here? Okay, so let's say in this particular garment there are no noodle straps, right? And here the garment actually has a noodle strap, see? So what do I do in this case? Okay, so I'll probably try and run a real example for that. Okay, so we have in paint and out paint. That's how I will explain the third feature to you. We'll drop the image here of the garment that does not have noodle straps, okay, here. And what I'll do is I will this is the brush size here, this is the eraser, this is refresh, and this is the brush size. So what is the brush does here? Basically, brush helps you draw inside this, which is called in painting or out painting. All right, so in painting mein, if I draw 2 lines here, okay, and so this is in, so after that there are sections, which is in paint or out paint default, improve details like face, hands, eyes, etc., or modify content, that is add objects, change background, etc. So we'll do modify content and we'll see how it goes. After you put modify content, it asks you for what additional prompt you want, and in that what you can do is add noodle straps. I don't know if it understands noodle straps or it will understand spaghetti straps, but we'll try both. Okay, and once this is done, we will cross our fingers and we will generate and see how it goes. Oh, I did not change this prompt here, so it might be, yeah, we'll see how it goes. So the prompt here also matters. So you have to delete the previous prompt, which I did not do it, but we'll see if it is creating something. While it's creating, I'll just stop and skip and nothing's happening. We'll see. While it's creating, we will just go through all of this. You all can also, okay. So this one also I have to explain, right? So one second, I'll just drop down an image here and then we'll upscale and vary it for the purpose of presentation. But basically, this is the theory of all of these. Upscale or variation changes the image. Image prompt will help you mix a few images, either for collages, for face swaps, or whatever. And in paint and out paint will help you add certain changes into this particular garment. I don't know if I will be able to get it with all the mishaps that has happened here. You all can try and experiment this and see how it works for you. In the meanwhile, I'll keep trying to put noodle straps with the process I told you, and then show you the result when it comes. This is the very broad theory of what I wanted to start today. In this only, what we'll try to do is we'll try to bring a garment, we'll try to bring a phrase, we'll try to blend it together. That is first exercise. Second exercise is we'll bring the Crow 3D garment in here when we'll try to put any model in it. Okay, so it will not happen. It is not as easier. It's easier said than done. Then you might take multiple iterations to get the product, get the kind of desired output that you're looking for, basically. And it can get a little bit complex because of the multiple variables available in image prompts. So practice it and ask me if you have any questions. I will be happy to repeat the whole thing for you if at all you want to understand it again, though this video is being recorded for later reference as well.